I graduated college a little bit over 2 years ago with a degree in mathematics and statistics. And when you graduate with a degree in math, you don't really know what you're going to be doing. And I was grateful enough or blessed enough to get a job as a data analytic professional at Apple as my first job out of college. And that brought me to the data world. Starting with the very basic concepts of data analytics, I got interested and I wanted to know what happens after this, and that's really when I fell in love with data science and AI and machine learning and all the concepts that go around it. I worked with Apple for a little bit over a year, and I decided to go my own way as an entrepreneur in the data science space. During my time learning or on my path towards becoming a data scientist, and if you have been in academia trying to get into data science, you've probably felt this way. I really wanted to learn the skill set, so I started researching anything from online courses to coding boot camps to looking at master's programs in data science, and everything was ranging anything from 10K to 100K a year to get the skill sets needed to become a data scientist. Obviously, I didn't have that money, so I went the easy route, taking online courses, doing some Kaggle competitions, taking on dummy projects online. And when I felt ready enough to call myself or to certify myself as a data scientist, and I started applying for jobs, like most of us encounter, you don't have any experience. We are looking for people with anything from 5 to 10 years of experience to be qualified as a data scientist, and I wasn't alone. There was a group of us out of a meetup that were complaining about the same issue. I made a little post on LinkedIn asking how many people felt the way I felt, and I received over 1,000 likes and several emails from people saying, I feel the way you feel, I think this is a huge problem, but we don't know how to solve it. So I decided to go about solving that problem as an entrepreneur. Got into an accelerator program for entrepreneurs. That program really helped me define what I was trying to accomplish, and then I put myself out there, and 1 year out of it, I'm still working on it, so that's, that's a great story for me. I believe imposter syndrome has played, honestly, quite a huge deal during the beginning of my career, and even until today. I mean, from me being in a classroom and around a couple of mostly male students, and putting my hands on myself and saying, you know what, I know the answer to that math question, all the way to being in the workforce and saying, you know, you guys have not been looking at this problem the proper way, and saying you guys are wrong and maybe this is the way you guys should think about it. I've always felt like my opinion didn't count because I was a minority out of a big group. But the day that I decided to tell myself, no, like the people around you don't matter, I think your opinion is important and as valuable as anybody else, was the day that, you know, the sky was the limit, or maybe there was no limit in the skies. And the way I started thinking about it was, what is the worst thing that could possibly happen, right? And from that day on, as soon as I think of something and that feeling comes back to me, I always tell myself, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen? And usually it's just like, the answer will be no, and then what, you move on, or you insist, and they will eventually say yes. And it sounds easier, right, said than done, but I think there are some practical ways that I have used over the years that has helped reduce. I don't think it ever ends because we are just human beings, and that will always happen, whether you're older or you're younger. There's always that feeling of your opinion doesn't matter, or you should probably shut up at this point and not say what you think. But some of the things that I've done is really, and as little and basic as this might be, is developing a mindset. Right? I do everything from meditation to working out, and when I say workout, I don't just do cardio, I do actually powerlifting, where whenever you feel like, hey, you know, you feel weak and you feel like, you know, you can't do it anymore, you really force yourself that no matter what, you're just as good and you can lift more heavier than you look, or like more than your weight. These are stuff that have been pushing me into saying, hey, whether I'm a data scientist and I'm, consulting with a client, and I don't want to say something because I don't think, again, you always feel like you're not good enough for the thing or for what you're about to put out there. And again, meditation, working out, mentorship has been a big role for me as well. I remember at an early stage of my career as a data scientist and an entrepreneur, one of the big things that really helped me go forward was I put myself out and I said, what are some of the people that look like me or even close to what of my demographics, and in the data science space or in the tech space that I can really look up to, look at their path, right, and follow that path or even make my path better than what they've done so I can be more successful than where they are. And I had a list. I reached out to most of them. And for a very long time, I thought, these people are very successful. And me with nobody, they might not even answer because they're probably a very busy person. And again, that's the imposter syndrome. I'm telling you, don't do it. And I've reached out to quite a few of them. And surprisingly, most people want to help. Right? Most people want to mentor other people because they've been there, they've felt that way, and they want other people to not go through that stage by themselves. And again, just tell yourself what's the worst thing that could possibly happen. They say no, and that's it. You won't die, nothing will happen, and you'll be fine. And if you're crazy like me, just insist.